Recursion is what's responsible for designs like this. If you're familiar with these, or if you are interested in math, you've probably heard the term fractal before. This is an example of a fractal design. And what a fractal design means is that it is a pattern that repeats itself inside itself. And that just sort of happens to parallel the idea of recursion. A fractal is actually a recursive design, meaning you can see this big spiral, right? And it has a certain proportion to it and a certain shape to it. But if you look carefully, what you'll see is throughout this design, that shape is repeated over and over. And if you zoomed in on this, you would see that even these little tiny branches that you can barely see are that same shape. And so this shape repeats itself. And it's a repeating shape that has pieces of itself inside the design. It's cool when we see this in math. It's kind of interesting, and it's kind of like, wow, that's something interesting to study or think about, that you can make these designs. But we also see these designs out there in the natural world. This is actually a variety of broccoli. I think it's Romanesco broccoli, or something like that. I've never had it before, but I like looking at it because it's such a cool pattern and shape. You can see these giant big cone shapes are made up of little cone shapes. And if you look really closely, these little cone shapes have that same design repeated inside themselves. So this is a recursive, a naturally occurring recursive design. And it's kind of cool that that happens in nature as well. In fact, if you look throughout nature, there are lots and lots of examples of fractal or recursive designs. And so, in